Good evening, everyone. I'll call our meeting to order here in council chambers at 6 p.m. Roll call, please.
Alderperson Silas.
Present.
Macias.
Present.
Razak.
Present.
Timian.
Present.
Finch.
Present.
McNeil.
Present.
Castro.
Present.
Schmidt.
Present.
All right, we do not have any remote electronic attendance necessary tonight, so we start with public comment.
There's no name.
No names. Is there anyone in the audience for public comment? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to board appointments. Mayor's reappointment of Rico Navarro to the Park and Recreation Board for a 5-year term expiring May 31, 2031. Any questions? Hearing none, we'll move to our presentations, and we start tonight with a signing ceremony between the City of Moline, Illinois, USA, and the City of Asbach, Germany, to join together as sister cities. So if you would join me, Mayor Christ, at the table. I think I don't need any more of that. Sure. I'd like to start once again by thanking you all for joining us here in Moline, for actually reaching out and offering to get this relationship restarted after initial conversations that happened before the COVID pandemic. We very much enjoyed your visit. I know from conversations you've enjoyed the visit as well, and hopefully we can come and visit you and learn from your municipality, your city, your industry, your culture, and people as well. We're very excited to be connected and to really support John Deere and its global enterprises. This is really a wonderful suggestion, and I'm glad to be in partnership with so many of you about this. So I think did you have something you wanted to say?
Yes. I must read it.
I'm sorry, I didn't do that in German.
Okay. Dear friends of Moline, first of all, I would like to apologize for my bad English. We have a perfect translator at our side with Janet, for which we are very grateful, and if my words make absolutely no sense, she can and she will take over. Our entire delegation has been speechless since Sunday evening. You have given us such an infinity warm welcome. Thank you very much. The program you have worked out is phenomenal. We all let words every day. We have done an infinity amount of work and effort to give us a great time in Moline. And I can officially certify you as mayor that you have succeeded more than 100%. I can only say thousand thanks for our group and for myself for every minute of our visit. With over 9,000 employees worldwide and a turnover of about $3.5 billion, the Wirtgen Group is by far the largest and most important employee in the Verbandsgemeinde Asbach, the district of Neuwied, as well as in the federal state of Rheinland-Pfalz. In our community is a headquarter with about 2,500 employees. Said yes. Who does not work at Wirtgen have friends and relatives. I, as mayor, must say quite honestly, I also love the taxes that we pay. Thank you. The Wirtgen Group has been part of the DNA of the Verbandsgemeinde Asbach for many decades. In the 60s, the family business was founded by us. The company was able to establish itself very quickly on the market and expand into a world market leader for road the purchase of Wirtgroup by John Deere, the great importance and the central economic position have placed to Moline. That is why we are very, very happy that we can now develop the region, the people, and the many similarities together. If Group buys a subsidiary such as the Wirtgroup Group, then this relationship of mother and daughter now also passes to us through common DNA, which is actually only logical. I'm proud, and it is a great honor for me to represent the citizens of the Verbandsgemeinde Asbach today and to officially sign this document. For this very special occasion, we are also brought our city seal from Germany. I see no one is watching us tonight because our seal is supposed to always remain in our town hall. But special moments require special measures. I don't want to torture you anymore with my bad English. I can only say once again with all my heart, 1,000 times thank you, everything we can experience through you. And very important, we invite you to us with the largest possible delegation. Hopefully it will work out next year. Then John Deere and the Wirtgroup Group will celebrate their 10 years merger. We would be very happy to welcome all we have met in Moline in Asbach. Ashley, Dawn, Connie, and Dunya will once again give everything to create a perfect program. John F. Kennedy said in Berlin in 1963, I'm a Berliner. We all from Asbach say today, I'm a Moliner. And very proud to be your sister.
So this leads us to reading our memorandum of understanding to everyone. I will read it word for word and then we'll sign them. And you'll be able to take one with you. So the memorandum of understanding is entered into by and between the City of Moline, Illinois, USA, and the City of Asbach, Germany, hereinafter referred to collectively as the cities, effective April 28, 2026. The purpose of this memorandum of understanding is to formally establish and affirm a sister city relationship between the cities, promoting mutual understanding, cultural exchange, and international friendship. The cities agree to encourage and support cooperative activities and exchanges in areas of shared interest, including but not limited to education and youth engagement, arts and cultural initiatives, civic and community development, tourism promotion, economic and business development, municipal best practices and governance, and both cities intend to foster meaningful connections among residents, community organizations, businesses, and local leaders. Through this sister city relationship, the cities express their shared commitment to strengthening bonds of goodwill and cooperation, promoting cultural awareness and global understanding, encouraging reciprocal visits and exchanges, and supporting collaborative initiatives that benefit both communities. This MOU reflects the goodwill and intentions of the cities and does not create legally binding obligations or financial commitments for either party. Any specific projects or exchanges may be subject to separate agreements as necessary. This memorandum of understanding shall become effective April 28, 2026 by approval of the City Council of the City of Moline and execution by authorized representatives of both cities. Okay, Chris, would you like to sign first?
Oh, thank you.
go and attest to
Oh,
that.
sure. But while she comes up to do that, finish that, I wanted to say, I have one parting gift. Here, I know we have other gifts for you. But, this gift is what we call a challenge coin that we have specially made for the upcoming 250th anniversary of the founding of our country. And so you see our logo there, City of Moline, and the 250th year. And so each one of you will have one of these to take back with us.
Thank you very, very much. We have some gifts too, maybe you can. Not. Thank you very much. And all gifts are already here. Some in Cincinnati for the customers.
Oh, customs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I hope they will arrive in
That's
time.
okay.
There's chocolate in this.
Oh.
Maybe it's not so good as it was.
They may vanish, yeah.
Cincinnati for a month.
I'm sure customs is like, yeah.
We begin with a flag.
Yeah.
Once meine Asma for you.
Thank you. Do you mind if I open it for everyone?
Always complete.
That it's the correct flag.
Oh, yes. Yes, it's correct.
It's very big, thank you. Thank you.
Yep. In the last 2 days, I very often said it's very big.
Oh.
Here in the US and
yes.
so that's a special one. This rock is basalt.
Oh.
It's from a volcano, and this volcano is near to us, and streets and Wales, traffic rails are made with this basalt, and so here is a QR code,
Oh, yes.
and you can read and see where it comes and what it is.
Thank you so much. That's really lovely. We'll have to check out the
And
QR code later.
Dr. Knickel, the,
This is what
yeah,
they
the
made.
company, you know, to connect us is John Deere, and John Deere is working, and so I have die Straßenfräse.
Coldplanner. Coldplanner.
Genau so wollte ich sagen. Ja.
Wonderful. We'll leave it up here for the duration
Okay.
of the meeting.
And for you, for the elder mass here, is,
Oh my goodness.
I must say, in it, what is here and what is in Cincinnati? So, this is
Yeah,
satchel.
crossbody bag,
Yes.
yeah.
There's a ball pen,
Oh,
patches from the fire department, from the Moline, and
ah.
Scarf.
Scarf.
and
Ah, yes,
completed.
yes.
And the rest is a cap and chocolates and I hope.
That's very generous, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, may I have a photo of you both holding up the signed documents?
Oh, yes.
Perfect.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. I might go wrong. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Thank you. You might enjoy the rest of your
Yes.
time with us. It's been so lovely.
Thank you.
Okay, so we move now, thank you everyone, to 6.2, Water Art Contest winner announcement. Charles Brown.
The third graders of Moline were invited to participate in this year's water art contest with the theme of Water Connects Us All, as you can see. So Josiah Clenny of Butterworth Elementary was our overall winner this year with his depiction of a fire truck along with one of our water towers. So as you gaze upon and appreciate Josiah's art, I would like to remind you all that it's a fool's errand to try to get into the mind of a true artist. But I do encourage you to appreciate it. Of course, Josiah couldn't do this alone. Right? He needed the help and the guidance of a more seasoned artist, and with that, he was lucky to have Miss Joan Suppy. Here she is. She is a third grade art teacher with the Moline Coal Valley School District. So for Josiah to win this overall contest, he beat out 450 other third graders. So it was a gauntlet. First, he had to win his class, and then he had to win his school, and then he had to win the citywide vote. But he was able to do all that. All the class winners have been displayed downstairs, as you've seen walk in, and at the public library. What we're also going to do is all the class winners will be in our Consumer Confidence Water Report, and Josiah's art will be featured in that. Along with that, Josiah's art will go onto the walls of the Water Administration Building for people to see for decades to come. So if you've been to the Water Admin Building, it's kind of walking through a time capsule. You can see how the minds of third graders have progressed through the decades and what they consider art. I guess you can say that. Josiah is Josiah is a thoughtful young man, and what he's promised me is, with his talent and with his creative ability, he's going to use that to help his teacher, Miss Suppy. So he's not just going to be the best artist of the class, he's kind of stepped into this mentor apprentice role. So when Miss Suppy needs help keeping the other ones inside the lines, Josiah will come over and say, let me show you how it's done, right? So, so Josiah is this year's big winner, and I would like to welcome you all in congratulating me in Josiah's win. As you can see, Josiah has a very supportive family. So we're going to get pictures with the mayor. So whoever would like, whichever members of his family look, let's get mom
Absolutely,
and
come on.
dad. Here's mom and dad, the art teacher, and of course Misty.
Misty needs a seeing eye human.
I think you'll be fine.
More people in this photo.
Whoever would like to be in the photo, or we'll let Josiah, whoever you want to be in the photo, you can choose. I was joking. No.
All right.
Mayor, can I have you, everyone turn this way now? Thank you.
Can you see all of his art? Step back a little.
Yeah,
Well,
actually,
don't
a
cover
step
your
back
face.
would be awesome.
Or yeah, tilted.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Perfect, thank you.
Don't cover, yeah.
1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you, Alderperson Schmidt. Okay, we move to 6.3, the Clean River Advisory Council, Don Temple and Mitchell Walker.
Hello, everyone. I've been seeing a lot of you guys this week. Yep, I am here to talk about the Clean River Advisory Council. I'm gonna introduce the council briefly, and then Mitchell's gonna tell you about our survey that we did last year. So the council is made up of kind of a holistic group, including Walton Family Foundation, QC Community Foundation, IMAN Consulting, and then a council of representatives. So in 2025, we really were focused on outreach and engagement to deepen awareness and participation in nature-based solutions. One of the things that we did was a community survey, so that's what we're gonna be reviewing this evening. But I did wanna just share some other things that we're working on, like the seed library is pretty cool, and a lot of tree planting and litter cleanups around in the community. So CREC's priorities include, it's basically a regional partnership focused on water quality, specifically to the Mississippi River. Focusing on natural infrastructure projects like rain gardens, pollinator gardens, things that you hear me talk about up here often. Also community engagement and youth education. So the role is really to connect projects, partners, and priorities. So yeah, we're just helping move ideas to like boots on the ground solutions. So we'll scoot through this. This is kind of a repeat of the slides, but to note the 102 volunteer hours, 300 plus trees planted across the Quad Cities last year are pretty significant contributions for a volunteer network. Another part of what CREC does is push out money that Walton Family Foundation is providing to support projects like this within Quad Cities. So over 2 cycles of grants now, 25 different, well, there's a couple repeats in there, but 25 projects have been funded for a total of $682,000 distributed directly to community organizations. So that's pretty cool, right in our community. So pretty proud of that. I do serve on the grants subcommittee as well, so proud of this part of the commission. I had a video that I made on PowerPoint, but I could not get it to go to the PDF slides, so that it's just an image, so it's kind of a weird image, so if you're wondering why that is why. But we did do the survey, like I mentioned. We had about 500 responses. The purpose was really to understand community priorities and concerns related to the Mississippi River and to help guide neighborhood level strategies. So I'm going to introduce Mitchell Walker now, who is kind of in a pollinator role himself with multiple, pun intended, by the way, with multiple garden positions with Tapestry Farms, Illinois Extension, and Palomares in Moline. So he's going to talk about the results.
The worn out.
Cool. Hi, guys. I'm Mitchell. Yeah, like Dawn said, I work for Illinois Extension, Tapestry Farms, and Palomares Social Justice Center, collectively equating to some sort of garden-ish full-time job. But I also serve on the Clean River Advisory Council and the Government Relations Committee. New to that role, I was on the Special Projects and Education Committee before, but this is my first shindig as a member of the Government Relations Committee, so bear with me. Yeah, we did a survey last year, with almost 500 respondents. The slides here kind of show what the different questions were and the whole spread of answers. And we're trying to take these results and sort of read between the lines with what folks said. So looking at this slide here, 65%, at least 65% of respondents feel a strong or very strong connection to the Mississippi River. That's great. How about the 31% who don't? So what projects can we look at to increase that level of connection for residents of Moline and across the Quad Cities? Yeah, 52% saying that they've got a personal or family memory tied to the Mississippi River. Okay, so the other side of that is how do we get more of those memories and connections made to the river? In what ways do you connect to the river was the second question on there. A lot of people acknowledged that it's obviously for recreation, personal memories tied to the river, and visiting the river regularly, and a not surprising degree of a responsibility for protecting the river. People seeing that as an asset in the Quad Cities, and having a degree of ownership for the river. Also, a lot of folks acknowledge that it's our source of drinking water, clearly very important. Cultural and historical ties to the river as well, and recognizing its presence in our everyday life, whether we're, commuting to work or jumping across the river to go to the movies or whatever. It's in our lives daily. This is my favorite question that was on there because I feel like this can actually guide projects that can be done with these results. What prevents you from fully connecting with the river? I don't have enough free time is a very difficult hurdle to get over, but I think that's a note of accessibility. How do we make the river convenient to visit in your free time, when you do have it? That's talking more access points, different events and activities that are during the times that people have free along the river. There's some other interesting ones up there too, not knowing what community events are occurring along the river, lack of public facilities, parking and restrooms. 40% indicate that they regularly visit the river and indicate no barriers. Okay. Conversely, what are those barriers that these other 60% are talking about? It's these up here. Unsurprisingly, trash and litter is a very primary concern for this question. What concerns do you have about the river's environment or condition? Lack of safe water quality, potential flooding, lack of habitats for plants and animals. I do not work for the city, so I don't know exactly what solutions are feasible for this information, but that's what people are concerned about. I like this slide a lot too. How important is it to you that nearby cities and local governments work together to address problems and concerns related to the Mississippi River? My experience is limited, but from what I have experienced, a lot of the times cities tend to either work in silos or within their own subgroups on certain projects, and community organizations work on their own siloed projects and subgroups. So we should bring them together and then bridge gaps across cities too, working on the same initiatives. These next few slides all are very comparable. This one kind of gets to the heart of it though. Which of the following do you believe is most important for this question was being asked for people in their neighborhood specifically, but the results were, like I said, pretty comparable across all cities in the QC. Planting trees, restoring wetlands, building rain gardens, protecting places that flood, and making green walking or biking trails. You can see this, here's a breakdown by priority neighborhoods. One thing that the CRAC does is identify particularly vulnerable populations along the Mississippi River corridor and put efforts toward improving the lives of the people who live in those neighborhoods. Moline's most relevant one being Floreciente. Priorities listed there: building rain gardens, protecting places that flood naturally, and planting native plants. To those ends, proud to say, as a recipient of the Clean River Advisory Council grant, we're building a rain garden in our Floreciente garden this year. One of the hats that I wear is operating the Floreciente Community Garden, and we're installing a rain garden this year. We planted a native plant garden 2 years ago, so those projects are alive and well. This basically says the same thing, that the important thing that we're hitting on here is nature-based solutions, stormwater management, native planting, and restoring wetlands. And this is what people hope to see in their neighborhoods. Very much echoing what we've already talked about: planting trees, building gardens, and restoring wetlands. And then same thing echoed across the entire landscape of the Quad Cities. And this is the other slide that I wanted to make sure we talked about. Open-ended responses reveal a forward-looking vision for restoration, education, and access. And I think my 2 cents on it is the education and access seem to be the 2 things that people are driving home most in these survey results. So what does that look like? More community river cleanup activities, restoration of native plants and habitats, and protected public access points to the riverfront, and more educational opportunities. Looking at those priority neighborhoods, we had most of our results coming from West End and Rock Island, Bettendorf, and the Floreciente neighborhood. Lowest number of responses coming in from downtown Davenport, and West End, Davenport, and East Moline. So good job, Moline. And then continued interest and engagement. We want to set up focus groups in 2026. But again, speaking on the diversity of professions we have on the Clean River Advisory Council, I think it's a really good opportunity to bring a bunch of really smart people together who are involved in this work directly and meet with city officials to get some of these projects off the ground. Stay connected. We have a website and a QR code and a bunch of other social channels that you can find our stuff on. I'm going to hand it back over to Dawn to talk more about why we're important.
Yeah, so I'm just going to wrap up. We've already started here in Moline, as you all are well aware, and very supportive of thus far, solid environmental work. So we've got some momentum here in Moline, and we're seeing other active volunteer stewardship at Sylvan Island, at Peterson Park, and interest is expanding to other areas. This shows that there's a real community capacity to support this work. Through our Bee City USA efforts, we're advancing pollinator habitat and community education while also building staff capacity to support more sustainable land management practices. We're also developing new partnerships, including work with Prairie Rivers Network and the National Wildlife Foundation to pursue funding for a resiliency hub feasibility study. And CRAC plays an important role in helping connect partners, support outreach, and coordinate these efforts into a broader strategy. Together, these efforts can position us to scale this work through partnership, community involvement, and coordinated implementation. So we're not starting from scratch. We already have a strong momentum, and this is really an opportunity for us to continue building on what's working and continue scaling these efforts through partnerships and community engagement, especially as we move to finalize and hopefully approve the environmental resiliency plan this summer. Just exploring aligning these efforts under a shared framework and really leaning into the public-private partnerships. So we look forward to continuing this work with your support. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Does anyone have questions for them at this time? All right. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
So we'll move next to item 7.1, which is a public hearing, text amendments to Chapter 35 of the Moline Code of Ordinances. So at 6:36, I hereby open this public hearing for item 7.1, text amendments, Chapter 35 of the Moline Code of Ordinances. Mr. Matthias, would you please proceed?
Thank you, Your Honor. So I'll go ahead and give you an overview of the two text amendments here that are the subject of the public hearing. These are both amendments to Chapter 35, and they both pertain to economic development. We're trying to remove barriers for economic development. As you all know, the economy and housing are main pillars of our strategic plan, and all of our strategic goals, not all of them, but a lot of them come out of that. So the first amendment that's proposed here is to Division 3 of Article 4 of Chapter 35. Those are the public art requirements for private development. Currently, development along certain corridors in the downtown, that would be 6th Avenue, 12th Street, River Drive, and 19th Street. Development along those corridors is subject to a 1% public art contribution. You can either do 1% of the project in public art or 0.8% as a payment in lieu of, effectively, into the fund. We've heard from multiple developers that this is effectively to them as a tax, and it is a barrier for more development to happen. If you look in the code too, there's also some specific things that pertain to, like, this has to happen before a building permit, or this has to happen before a certificate of occupancy. And I strongly recommend that we remove things like that, because that's a barrier for me to get permits issued and get development to happen. The second amendment pertains to public improvements in the right-of-way. So this could be anything from a street subdivision for a new subdivision where a street goes in, utilities go in. Could be streetscaping along in the downtown. Currently, as the developer, you're gonna provide a financial guarantee to us while you do that work of 110% of the cost of the work. We're not proposing to change that. But we also have a provision in here for after we accept the work, after our engineers review it and they say, that's good, we accept it. We're now saying that they need to keep a bond valued at 20% on that for the next year as a maintenance guarantee. So this is something else that Chris Parr and I talked about and what he's seen in other cities. And we reviewed this with engineering. We'd like to lower that down to 10% as well, as another barrier that we've seen for economic development. So any questions you have for me, happy to answer those, but this is a public hearing, and so I just wanted to make sure you understand what we're talking about today.
Thank you. Is there any testimony from those in favor of the text amendments to Chapter 35 of the Moline Code of Ordinances? Okay, hearing none. Is there any testimony from those in opposition to the text amendments to Chapter 35 of the Moline Code of Ordinances? Okay, are there any other questions or statements? Council? Yes, Mr. Schmidt?
Thank you for bringing forward both of these changes. I think it is good when we see the challenges that we try and help get them out of the way. In particular, the public art piece. That came on midstream just as I was sitting down in my seat at the council and was talked into it at the time, and I think removing it is a very, very good choice. I do remain committed to us having public art, and as a thought for that in every budget when it comes time to discuss what that number is. But I just think we don't need to be setting aside this tax, which it is a tax, in this particular way that stops us from something we're trying to accomplish, and that we can bring that from our general fund or wherever is appropriate.
Thank you. Alderperson Timian?
Thank you, Your Honor. I want to echo what Alderperson Schmidt said. I want to relate this a little bit to my work professionally. We run a team that is called an agile team, and the whole idea is that when things don't work, we adapt and we acknowledge it, and there are no mistakes. Everything is an opportunity to learn. We went into this funding mechanism for public arts with the best intentions, and it didn't work the way we thought it would. So I want to commend the staff for adapting and coming to a different conclusion, and this council will continue to fund public arts through budgetary means. That's my commitment that I'll fight for. But I just really want to commend the staff for adapting and leading by example, that we're not stuck in our ways if things don't work out.
Thank you. Any other questions or statements? Hearing none, this public hearing is closed at 6:41 PM. And we move to presentations. 8.1, a proclamation request by, proclamations. By Darren Galt, Chief of Police, to observe the week of May 10, 2026 as National Police Week. Do you have anything you want to say on behalf of Chief Galt?
No, just on behalf of Chief Galt.
Come on up, Mr. Van Huysen.
Trying to avoid it.
If I knew I was going to speak, I would have sent Raya here. No, on behalf of Chief Galt and the 80 plus sworn police officers, we thank you for your support and for the proclamation.
Okay, I'll read the proclamation. Whereas in 1962, President Kennedy proclaimed May 15 as National Peace Officers Memorial Day and the calendar week in which May 15 falls as National Police Week. And whereas established by a joint resolution of Congress in 1962, National Police Week pays special recognition to those law enforcement officers who have lost their lives in the line of duty for the safety and protection of others. And whereas each day more than 700,000 police officers across our country put on their badge and go to work knowing they may face extremely dangerous situations, with 97 officers giving their lives in the line of duty last year. And whereas the men and women of the Moline Police Department make difficult decisions every day to safeguard the rights and freedoms of the citizens of Moline and provide a vital public service. Now, therefore, I, Sangeetha Rayapati, Mayor of Moline, do hereby call upon all citizens of Moline and upon all patriotic, civic, and educational organizations to observe the week of May 10, 2026 as National Police Week. Thank you so much, Chief. Would you mind passing that? Thank you. 8.2 is a proclamation from the American Water Works Association to declare May 3 through 9, 2026 as Drinking Water Week. And this proclamation reads, whereas water is our most valuable natural resource, and whereas only tap water delivers public health protection, fire protection, support for our economy, and the quality of life we enjoy, and whereas any measure of a successful society are in some way related to access to safe water, and whereas we are all stewards of the water infrastructure upon which future generations depend, now therefore I, Sangeetha Rayapati, Mayor of the City of Moline, Illinois, do hereby proclaim the week of May 3rd through 9, 2026 as Drinking Water Week. Is Mr. Brown still here?
Laura's here.
Laura's here. Yes. Madam Director, if you wouldn't mind coming up and receiving this on behalf of the department. Did you have anything you wanted to add? Yes, please.
Yes, I want to thank the council and the mayor for this proclamation, and I know our utility team really prides itself on putting all of the quality water that we are known for, and I really want to put a shout out for the water treatment plant staff and our lab staff who make this happen.
Thank you so much. All right, and I don't believe there are any questions on the agenda or adjustments, so we will launch into our Committee of the Whole agenda items.
It's a bit late.
And really, I don't want to make our friends from Germany have to sit through everything, so they should feel free to go if they would like, but we're happy to have you for the entire time as well. If you need a minute to decide, that's okay. 5 minutes.
Thanks, Mitch.
Thank you, Dr. Savage, for everything you also contributed this week. Okay. 10.1, an ordinance amending Chapter 31, taxation of the Moline Code of Ordinances by repealing Section 31-7102, tax and report transmittal in its entirety and enacting in lieu thereof new sections 31-7102 entitled Tax and Report Transmittal, dealing with the same subject matter. Mr. Vitas.
With regards to this
Oh,
particular
Mr. Atkins.
change, we currently require that there be a payment and a reporting with regards to food and liquor tax.
Oh, yeah.
That is supposed to be done consistent with the reporting to the state, and they're supposed to give us a copy of what they report to the state. However, for motorized food vendors, they don't do as much business as your typical restaurant, and so they are typically told to report to the state every quarter or every year rather than every month. And so the change here is to have their reporting and their payment to us in line with what they do for the state. So we are recommending that you pass this so that it becomes possible for motorized food vendors to comply with our ordinance, because right now it kind of isn't.
Yeah. Thank you for catching that.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion by Finch, seconded by Castro. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. 10.2, actually, can someone from staff give the agenda to our guests? I think that would be more meaningful. Thank you so much, Mr. Dijkhuizen. 10.2, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute and attest to a licensing agreement with Finney's of Moline LLC, DBA River House Bar and Grill for use of public right-of-way for use of the historic Black Courtyard for the outdoor service of alcoholic liquor and food from May 16, 2026 to October 3, 2026.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, very happy to report that you're seeing the reactivation of the historic Black Courtyard, which has been very, very quiet since the COVID pandemic. So bringing it back to life, you have a new little bar that's opening up where the other bar was that took over the Galena bar, a short distance away, but then placing themselves front and center on the patio and looking for approval tonight, and we're recommending approval as a staff.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Finch, seconded by Macias. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. 10.3, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute and attest to a licensing agreement with 1522 River Drive LLC, DBA Sins Tavern for use of city-owned property located at 1520 River Drive and better known as the historic Black Courtyard, adjacent to the property located at 1522 River Drive to install and maintain an existing barrier fence, tables, and chairs on premises for outdoor service of alcoholic liquor and food. Mr. Vitas.
Now I'm going to say the right one in the right order. This is.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
And Schmitty didn't catch me, so that was actually
Neither of us
pretty
did.
good.
Say anything.
So, Mayor and alder persons, we are looking for approval this evening so that the new bar owners of Sins Tavern on the historic Black Courtyard can reestablish themselves. This is a fenced-in area that is already in place, has been in place, and this is basically giving them the opportunity to use that space, which basically doubles their sales area, because it's a very small space to begin with. And the prior one was so River House, who's doing great business, could actually start their business up again on the outdoors. So we're recommending approval of item 10.3.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Finch, seconded by Macias. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. 10.4, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute and attest to licensing agreements with Bent River Brewing Company and Three Bros Hospitality LLC, DBA Poor Bros, Craft Tap Room for use of public right-of-way for use of the Bass Street Landing Public Plaza to sell alcoholic liquor in conjunction with the Bass Street Landing Summer Concert Series from May 21, 2026 through August 13, 2026.
Mayor and council staff is recommending approval of the request from both of these companies who are well established here in Moline so that they can participate alongside others at the Bass Street Landing Summer Concert Series, which will kick off Thursday, May 21st. Don't miss it. Opening night is always the best night. Recommending approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Finch, seconded by Castro. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. A resolution declaring, 10.5. A resolution declaring a portion of 2800 48th Avenue, Moline, Illinois as surplus and authorizing the mayor to execute a warranty deed and do all things necessary to convey a portion of the above referenced city-owned property to the people of the state of Illinois, Department of Transportation, for the amount of $12,000, and authorizing the city attorney and staff to do all things necessary to complete each of the city's responsibilities concerning said conveyance of property. Mr. Vitas?
Yes. Mayor and council, this item as well as the next item were brought to us by the Illinois Department of Transportation looking for the conveyance of property that is city-owned, specifically to accommodate two very specific projects that the state is working on. related to the new I-74 interchange improvements, which are scheduled to start, I believe, in 2027.
Later this year.
Later this year. Don't say that. It's too soon. We got construction everywhere, Laura. Well, hopefully it'll be mild. But both of these conveyances, item 10.5 and 10.6, will allow that actually to take place. The state is paying us $12,000 on item 10.5 to acquire a strip of land for that purpose. And it's for stormwater, basically, as I understand.
Thank you.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Finch, seconded by Schmidt. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. 10.6, a resolution declaring a portion of 3620 38th Avenue, Moline, Illinois as surplus and authorizing the mayor to execute a warranty deed and do all things necessary to convey a portion of the above referenced city-owned property to the people of the state of Illinois, Department of Transportation, for the amount of $9,600, and authorizing the city attorney and staff to do all things necessary to complete each of the city's responsibilities concerning said conveyance of property.
Mayor and council staff is recommending approval for the same reasons stated in the item 10.5.
Motion to approve?
Second. Motion by Finch, seconded by Castro. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? That motion passes. 10.7, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute and attest to an independent contractor agreement with Economy Roofing and Insulating Company for the Moline City Hall roof project for the amount of $265,300.
Good evening, thank you. So we bid this project about this time last year. We knew that the roofing system was at its end of useful life. The drainage system was causing some issues interiorly in office spaces where there would be water coming in, but at the same time we're also looking at other issues within City Hall. So we decided to delay this project to get some of those items figured out. But at this time we would like to move forward. Economy Roofing has honored their price. They continue to be the lowest and most responsive bidder, so we are recommending them for approval.
Thank you.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Finch, seconded by Timian. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. 10.8, a resolution accepting a proposal from Johnson Controls for the Public Works Heating, Ventilation, and Air Conditioning Retrofit Project utilizing Sourcewell Contract 080824-JHN for the amount of $480,132 and authorizing the Assistant Director of Public Works to execute any necessary documents and do all things necessary to implement said project.
Thank you, Your Honor. Currently, the HVAC system at the Public Works Department building has reached the end of its reliable and useful life. There are several components within the HVAC system that have become obsolete, so replacing them or repairing them at this point is not an option with what is there. So we reached out 2 years ago in anticipation of this project to get pricing, and we've built it into the budget, and we are also utilizing a Sourcewell contract to make sure that we are getting the best pricing possible.
Thank you.
We are looking for approval.
Motion to approve?
Second. Motion by Finch, seconded by Castro. Discussion. Mr. Schmidt.
Could you just walk me through, I want to make sure I understand why we're not taking it out to bid, especially on a project so large?
We have a total maintenance contract currently with Johnson Controls, and because they have honored that Sourcewell pricing, which is on a joint purchase contract, we offered it to them first to be able to give us that pricing. So Sourcewell is already competitively bid.
Right, thank you. That's
You're
the piece I was missing in my head. Thank
Yes.
you.
Anything further? All right, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. 10.9, a resolution declaring vehicles and non-motorized assets as shown in Exhibit A attached here to and incorporated herein by reference as surplus property and authorizing the disposal of said vehicles and non-motorized assets by the Assistant Director of Public Works through the legal disposal process that it is most advantageous to the city, whether sealed bid, auction, negotiation, or otherwise.
Thank you. At this point, we have either placed all orders or received all orders for vehicles and equipment that were budgeted for the 2026 fiscal year. And so it is time to send those that are at the end of their life on to their next lives. So we are looking for approval to declare these items as surplus.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Timmy and seconded by Finch. I do see you raising your hand, so I'm not confused this time. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Did you catch that? It was Timmy and then Finch. All right. Anything, comments, questions? Yes.
Just so, I ask this every year and I never remember the answer. What is the process by which you dispose of the vehicles?
So for larger purchases, I try to obtain a trade-in value
Okay.
beforehand, and then I send it to auction to see if it's possible for us to get a better return through the auction process. This year, we didn't really have a whole lot that was going to be high dollar that we felt was going to be competitive through the dealers. So we'll go to auction this time.
And so is the auction a third party or do we do it in-house and kind of?
It's a third party.
Okay.
Thank you. Anything further? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes.
Thank you.
10.10, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute and attest to a rental service agreement with Phelps Uniform Specialists, Inc. for uniform and floor mat rental services for a period of 5 years. Mr. Schmidt.
Thank you. So Phelps has provided us excellent service, customer service, and very timely service for these products. So at this time, we are looking to extend this agreement 5 more years. At that point, we will reevaluate the contract to see if it's still working for the city.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion by Finch, seconded by Castro. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. 10.11, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute and attest to a contract with Walter D. Laud, Inc. for Project 1515, 2026 intersection reconstructions for the amount of $492,963.50.
Thank you,
Ms.
Your
Flower.
Honor. This project is to reconstruct 2 intersections in town, 12th Avenue and 12th Street, and 10th Street and 11th Avenue. Both of these locations were included in our 2026 CIP. We bundled them together into one contract in order to get the best possible pricing. Both will be reconstructed this summer with new concrete pavement, new sidewalks, and improved drainage systems.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Finch, seconded by Razak. Comments, questions? Thank you. Very excited to see this improve. That 12th and 12th is awful.
They both need it.
Yes. Thank you. If there's nothing further, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. 10.12, a resolution accepting a quote from Tri-City Electric Company for project 1531 Avenue of the Cities signal upgrades to provide labor and equipment for $69,700 and materials for $59,600 for the total amount of $129,300, and authorizing the Director of Engineering to provide notice of acceptance of the quote and do any and all things necessary in order to complete this project.
Thank you. This project is to upgrade the traffic signals at 48th Street and Avenue of the Cities. They will install new mast arms for northbound and southbound traffic and install new pedestrian signals and what we call APS push buttons, those push buttons that talk to you, which is required now through ADA rules. We received 2 quotes. Tri-City Electric was the lesser of the 2 quotes, and we're asking for your approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Finch, seconded by Silas. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. 10.13, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute and attest to a construction and maintenance agreement, 15th Street at-grade signals with Iowa Interstate Railroad LLC, a Delaware Limited Liability Company, for the 15th Street at-grade signal project.
Thank you. This agreement is necessary in order to proceed with the upcoming Quiet Zone project, which is scheduled in 2027. This is an agreement between the city and Iowa Interstate Railroad. They will install new gate arms at the 15th Street intersection, those what we call quad gate arms, which I believe these will be the first in the Quad Cities.
Yeah. Yes.
It's those gate arms that completely block the intersection so no vehicles can go around the arms when they're down. So it's a safety improvement necessary to make the intersection, or install the quiet zone for that corridor.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Finch, seconded by Timian. Discussion. Yes, Mr. Silas.
Thanks, Your Honor. I would just say that if a taxpayer were looking at this item, it looks like a heavy cost, but I do think that it's going to be worth it for the safety and the quiet zone. So thanks for bringing this.
Thank you. Mr. Timian?
You mentioned, I'm glad, I was going to ask this. We set aside money for this years ago. Is this still coming out of that fund? Question mark.
It's been carried over
Okay.
year after year. So it's included in the 26 CIP under special CIP funds.
So but it's money that we set aside years ago, so it's not a new expense, really? Okay.
Nope.
Okay, thank you.
Nope.
That was, yeah.
It's old money.
Old, it's Eastern, yeah, okay. It's old money.
Got it.
Carryover,
New
it's a
York.
carryover fund,
Yeah.
technically is what it
And we've
is.
had it restricted for this project.
Also, a lot of the quiet zone stuff has been in all of our budgeting for quite some time, right? Yeah.
Going
And
back
we've
to
tried to find
2022.
grants and all of that, just to answer, a little more context. Yep. Okay, thank you. If there's nothing further, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. 10.14, an ordinance amending Chapter 22, offenses miscellaneous of the Moline Code of Ordinances, Section 22-1105, tobacco products, tobacco accessories, smoking herbs, and alternative nicotine products by increasing the number of Class B incidental tobacco dealers' licenses in the city of Moline at the request of Rosie's Watering Hole, Inc., DBA Rosie's Watering Hole. Mr. Atkins?
This particular request is similar to one that you had previously. It's another machine selling vapes in a bar. Basically, it is already in a location where those under 21 shouldn't be able to get to it, but it also, these machines have technology in order to require an ID of some kind that demonstrates that you are old enough to buy. So there's a double protection, and we're recommending approval.
Thank
Motion
you.
to approve?
Motion by Finch, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Schmidt. Discussion? Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Mr. Silas.
Thanks, Your Honor. Since the requesters in Ward 1, I feel a need to say, I would entertain a larger policy discussion maybe about increasing our cap for Class B incidental tobacco dealers licenses, but I don't want to approach it kind of ad hoc and by request, so I am inclined to vote against.
Mr. Macias.
Thank you. So this vending machine company is probably going to hit up more and more bars, right?
I would fully expect that there will be more of these coming, yes.
Okay.
And it is, the vending machine company is not the one that we are granting the license to. The particular location where the vending machine goes in will be the responsible party. Whatever their contract is with the vending machine company, it is the actual owner of that location, or the tenant of that location at least, who will be the one that is a responsible licensee.
And just as a follow-up, so this is kind of like the modern day cigarette machine,
Pretty
right,
much.
that will set
Yeah.
at the bars. Don't we have some taverns that sell food that we do have, parents can bring their kids?
If you're talking about being able to get in at a certain point of time, if you're
It's 9
certain
p.m.
classifications until 9 o'clock, you can have individuals who are under 21 in there. So far, the ones that we have had requesting this, I don't believe serve food. I cannot recall with this one. Does this?
I don't
does
think this one has that.
So if they do not have food, then typically that's treated as a prohibition 24 hours. You can't have anyone in there under 21, period.
Okay, well, just for, I guess my question is like, if we do get those, what's the process? Is it a case-by-case basis? But I imagine we're gonna see these more and more as more bars get wind of another revenue of income.
Part of we had to look at these very carefully because our ordinance is not as robust as I would like it to be in its explanations. It is clear that the information given to us about how these machines function that it should be, if the machine works properly, impossible for anyone who is not of the proper age to obtain vapes from this machine. If they had someone giving them a license to use, perhaps, but it should be impossible to simply, you can't just walk in and tell someone you're 21 and get by with that, with this type of technology.
Ms. Castro?
How, I understand that these are, there's a company how are we making sure that they're installing what they are supposed to be? I mean, is there any kind of oversight from the city? Is that part of like the liquor commissioner's role? How are we making sure that they are in compliance?
I'm not sure that I can answer that.
I can tell you from the liquor commissioner.
I understand your concern. I can only give you the information that I have from the application, and I'm just not sure of the answer to that.
I don't go in and check on what they're selling. That's an enforcement issue, and as we know, not all of our code is as enforceable as it might be or could be. Of course, that takes staff time as well. They do, if there's a complaint, we have had staff go and check on particular license holders to see that they're complying. So that sort of after the fact. But I wanted to respond, and I did see your hand, Mr. McNeil, but as I mentioned in my email to you all, I think, and what you point to as a broader conversation, that we should ask staff. I, as liquor commissioner, will probably very directly be asking staff to see what else we can do, because this same situation of, as I mentioned, down the street, they want to sell alcohol in a mostly tobacco shop. I think it's maybe a B shop. Or license. And when I first took office, we had one class of liquor license that were complaining that their business was getting impacted because another class in the similar class was right next door and was taking their business. And so I can imagine these two just in this situation are on the same street, and you could walk down the street to get a vape at that shop, as opposed to buy it right there when you're at the bar. I'm just saying that I've entertained these conversations with license holders previously who didn't want to see their business cut into. And that might be another broader level conversation that we have to have before we find ourselves just like willy-nilly, approving different licenses, and then certain license holders are very upset because their business is impacted.
And I would gladly work with all of you on crafting, like I said, a more robust ordinance. What we have, they're meeting our requirements, frankly. That's why I'm recommending approval. Okay. But that's not to say that there isn't a way that you could change this to take care of any problems that you perceive.
Okay, I did see your hand and then your hand. So Mr. Razak, please.
Mr. Atkinson, this would not go over our caps, right? Caps is the same. The cap we have, that is same. But it will facilitate the businessmen to sell more. Is that my understanding?
They don't have it right now, so it's not selling more. They just want to be able to sell it in-house.
Yeah.
So if they sell it through the vending machine, that will facilitate them to sell more, or then
no.
So,
it currently does not exist in that business. They want to add it to the business. More is relative. How many people come in the bar? That's how it turned. That it's not. There's no direct relationship. Sorry. Mr. McNeil.
So I know that we've discussed trying to avoid a cluster of these licenses, and my concern comes back more to the Class C licenses, which kind of I consider the Wild West of products, a lot of which we don't fully understand yet. Kratom, I think, is now illegal in Iowa, but Delta 8, just the language in the business plan says products not contemplated for sale. I'm glad they have a list of these products that they're not contemplating for sale, but I would like something in place to ensure. I'm less concerned about a new style cigarette machine than I would be if it included these other products.
Anything further? Mr. Tamian and then Mr. Schmidt.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm hoping we can get everyone to comment tonight. That would be, but I have so many funny things to say about me buying cigarettes from vending machines as a teenager. At the unenforceable vending machine in the back of the bowling alley, or the donut shop that gave them to me anyway. And people do steal IDs from older siblings, and so I mean, like this is not new. My concern is this is a new form, and I, as we were discussing this, thought maybe we should have a new classification of tobacco license just for vending machines. Because a proliferation of vending machines is different than a proliferation of smoke shops. However, they are different enough and distinct enough that I think it should warrant discussion. And I don't know if that's wise or not, but I do feel this is an easy venue to start selling vape products, because now they don't have to specialize, they don't have to stock it, the company does it all for it. They just set up a machine. And if we're lowering the barrier for entering this market, we have to be very cautious about saturation. And instead of looking at a map and seeing this, because there's Walgreens right there too, there's a lot. I would like to take a step back and say, should this be a different classification of license that we can decide if we want or not? I don't know.
Well, you always have the option to table.
Yep.
Mr. Schmidt, and then Mr. Vita.
Sure. I think as we look at these machines, and I think equating it to just a new type of a cigarette machine. And of course, there are ways around it, although I think these machines are way more secure than the ones that had been in place in the past. I mean, just the technology makes it a little different. I also think when we think about that enforcement, I mean, it's no more enforceable than in any existing place besides occasionally, when the police we get grants specifically for tobacco enforcement and go around. And I would not try to direct the staff, but I'd love to see that we included these in some of our investigation in that. To my mind, the biggest question about when we think of these business classes and where they go is if it's going to change the nature of what's in the location, change kind of how you would think of that space, right? Is it going to cause an impact? And to me, allowing tobacco products to be sold in a bar does not change the nature of the establishment at all. And as a counterpoint to, maybe they'd have to leave. If we don't allow these machines, they might drive somewhere to get smokes and come back to the bar. So I don't think that's nearly as straight a line, and to my mind, it has to do with that overall impact. So I intend to support, though I welcome a larger conversation, but I would hate to say we approve the last one and turn around and deny this one kind of arbitrarily.
Mr. Vitas and then Ms. Castro.
Sure. I would encourage council to let staff take a close look at this. I think the city attorney is correct. The state of Illinois has very, very strict legal requirements regulating vape vending machines. You can pull it up online on your computer simply by typing vape vending machines in Illinois. And you'll see they talk about all of the subjects that you're talking about right now, in terms of their placement, in terms of their monitoring, in terms of what's required of the license holder, what's required of anybody involved or engaged in the practice or the business. It's all there. So it's not like we have to invent the wheel. It becomes much more of a policy matter. Do you want to regulate the number as we do with liquor licenses or with tobacco licenses? I think that's really a bigger issue, and we know how you address that very conservatively at this moment, but this is not a place, it could never be placed where there's food being sold. That is in the law. It cannot go where a minor is going to be. It must be strictly a 21 and over facility, no exceptions to those rules. So I would like to have Bill take the time to look at this very carefully and then bring something back.
Okay, anything further from the council? Anybody?
Anna.
Oh, yeah, Anna, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
You don't have anything?
Oh, no, I'm just.
Okay, so the motion is on the floor. You're either going to vote for it or against it, or you can choose to table it. Okay. Hearing nothing, all in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
I didn't ask for nays yet. I'm glad you're passionate about your vote. I'm going to have to do a roll call vote for this so we get it right. Roll call, please.
Alderperson Schmidt,
Aye.
Silas,
Nay.
Macias,
Aye.
Razak,
Nay.
Timian,
Nay.
Finch,
Aye.
McNeil,
Aye.
Castro.
Aye. All
5
right.
ayes and 3
It
nays.
passes 5-3. All right. But I think staff has heard clearly that we need a better policy around this and not be caught flat-footed, so to speak,
Right.
as we were with previous licenses that we had to gain control over. Yes, Mr. Macias?
And maybe you can share the Illinois, what Bob
Yeah,
was
Bob,
talking about.
can you
Be
please
happy
send
to
that out?
circulate that even in advance of
Okay.
whatever we prepare
Yeah.
for you, so
Thank
at
you.
least you'll be.
The provisions that we have with regards to machines dispensing vapes or tobacco, they seem to be very old requirements, and there certainly is a lot that we could do to make it better. It's just that it wasn't something that was on my radar until we had people start applying for these.
Thank you. All right, 10.15, a resolution approving the special event application for the Quad Cities Distance Classic Half Marathon and 5K Run event scheduled for Sunday, May 10, 2026, that is sponsored by the Corn Belt Running Club, and authorizing a grant to the Corn Belt Running Club for the amount of $1,000 from the Special Events Fund for event marketing efforts and closing certain streets more particularly described herein to vehicular traffic, and authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute and attest to a licensing agreement with Corn Belt Running Club for the use of public right-of-way in conjunction with said event. Mr. Vitas?
Mayor and council, the staff is highly recommending approval of this annual event that is held here in the city of Moline. And this item needs to appear as well because of timing of tonight's meeting in relationship to the date of the race. So it will appear as an item on non-consent, so we're recommending approval.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Finch, seconded by Macias. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. 10.16, a resolution authorizing the mayor, city clerk, and city staff to apply for an Illinois Environmental Protection Agency Public Water Supply Energy Efficiency Grant Program, Round 2, for the addition of variable frequency drives on pumps at the water treatment plant, and authorizing the Director of Utilities to do all things necessary to submit the subsequent grant application currently available through the IEPA PWS EE grant program. Ms. Williamson?
Yes. Staff is requesting the approval to submit a grant for the water treatment plant. This will help us with continued energy efficiency at the plant. We have 5 pumps total. 2 of them do not have these variable frequency drives on them. By submitting this grant application, if we are awarded that, will help us to actually look at reducing our utility costs at the treatment plant. The project cost is estimated to be $190,000. The funding request is $171,000, excuse me, from the state. We would provide a 10% match of $19,000. We do need to submit the grant by May 4th, which is why staff is requesting to have this also considered at the city council. This is part of an assessment that we did back in 2023 that was looking at energy efficiency at the water treatment plant.
Thank you.
Motion to approve?
Second.
That was Finch, followed by Macias. Thank you. Discussion. Yes, Mr. Silas.
Thank you. I just want to commend staff for going after grants like this. This is good planning and a good idea. So I just want to thank you.
Thank you. I'll let staff know. Thank you.
Anything further? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. 10.7, a resolution declaring the property located at 202 20th Street, Moline, and the identified portions of easterly adjacent parcels 08322060006, 08322060004, and 08322050006, Moline, Illinois, as surplus, and authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute and attest to a purchase and sale agreement and do all things necessary to convey the above referenced city-owned property to 321 Partners LLC, and authorizing the city attorney and staff to do all things necessary to complete each of the city's responsibilities and enforce each of the city's expected benefits as referred to in such agreement. Mr. Parr.
Thank you, Your Honor. City issued a request for proposals for redevelopment of 200 to 202 20th Street, specifying the rehabilitation of the 200 building, and received 2 proposals from qualified firms, evaluated, interviewed, and ranked those firms based on the requirements of the RFP. Staff recommends a proposal from 321 Partners LLC with a purchase price of $350,000 and a proposed rehabilitation of the building and site into a mixed-use development with projected 27 residential units and approximately 10,000 square feet of ground floor commercial to contain restaurant and retail space. The project will utilize the incentives available through the recently approved River Edge redevelopment zone. So this is that approval in action for being attractive, specifically the set aside of the historic tax credits that comes with the Riverside redevelopment zone. Development will commence upon approval of the historic tax credits. Right now it's targeted for late 2026 and early 2027. Staff recommends approval of the PSA with 321 Partners.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Finch, seconded by Macias. Discussion. Mr. Macias.
At what point do they have a very specific plan of everything that's going in? And it's a very specific plan of everything that's going in.
Yeah, so they have their concepts. They basically have their models. So it's 3 floors of residential, 27 units. So it's 9 units per floor. Ground floor commercial, 1,500 square feet of patio. They're doing the financing with that based on River's Edge. They have equity. It's using TIF 13, so it is in TIF 13, which expires 2039. So they have the balance of TIF, which is more advantageous than the River Edge redevelopment property tax period. But they'll launch into design. With approval of this, they'll go spend money and launch straight into design. They need to get in for the long haul of the approval of the historic tax credits. Again, the good news is it's a set aside because of River Edge. They don't have to compete, so it will go as fast as it can, but that still takes time. They have a consultant that they've used before for tax credit, historic tax credit consultant that they've engaged. So is that?
Yeah.
And then it'll follow the PMT process, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, we will see this.
So
We'll see this
half
many
the
times.
council will see plans a little bit ahead of time, et cetera, give feedback,
sir.
and that's also public, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, Mr. McNeil.
So in thinking about our housing goals, do we project that there'll be market rate apartments?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Anything further from the council? Hearing, oh, yes, Mr. Timian.
Is there any, and maybe you can't answer this, is there any commercial demand already for this spot? I mean, everyone I know wants to work, like, set their business up there, knowing it's a huge project, but it's such a great location.
So, of course, my answer is going to be yes.
But you can't say who you're talking.
So, but here's what's true about that. We are very specifically not approaching this as a land banking opportunity. That is not what this building is about. We've had too many years of it being there. So this is truly an early adopter conversation. So this is Urban Pioneer on display, Urban Pioneer activity on display. That will be with the commercial as well. So there is interest, but we're looking at the site so that it is self-contained and it self-parks on day one. So this will be a rehab building with a site that surface parks. So that's why dialing in at this number of units and the projection for the activated commercial, it can self-park.
And that works to do it that way, self-contained, as you said, because all of our other riverfront development, it will happen around it and it won't be a problem.
That is the
That's
rules
why
of
we
the
do
game.
it that way.
Form-based code.
Now that will not, we're not saying that that's going to be easy. We're not saying there's not going to be dust. We're not saying we're going to have to adjust the traffic pattern to get to the site every few months as development occurs.
Mr. Timian, then Mr. Rozak.
2 questions couched as one. I want to make sure we retain parking for the Riverhead, the trailhead. And second, can you speak about parking concepts as it pertains to minimum parking requirements for the residential?
So technically, our minimum parking is zero.
Zero.
Is what's required.
That's what you're.
Oh, because it's in this zone. You're right. Okay.
But lenders, investors, reality does not probably lend itself to zero.
Are
So-
you suggesting that despite no requirements, people still had parking? Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Probably one to one.
Okay.
Probably the
1 to 1, okay. And then, but parking for the trailhead, will that be?
Yeah, that's a great piece. So right now we have that easterly edge available for park. The trailhead parking could probably happen in 2 spots. We just have to get further down the road with the site plan. And we're also going to be engaging IDOT just with some boundary management as we resurvey this.
Okay. Mr. Razak?
Your Honor, nothing as such. I just want to thank Christ from the bottom of my heart for this wonderful job.
Yeah, I think that the public will love to see it not look as bad as it does. Mr. Schmidt?
Yeah, and I think our conversations and curiosities, I am glad to see that there were 2 people interested in bidding on it, because that shows to me that I think that is more likely to be successful, and that's a good blessing there. I'd also like to mark down today as a day when Alderman Tivian asked for more parking.
All right. With that said, you have another question, Mr. Timmy.
I didn't ask for more park, but anyway, is it viable for us to put a sign up that says
Yes,
coming?
please.
Yeah,
Coming soon?
Yeah, or just like projected, just something, because obviously we have planning, there's blueprints, there's a lot of red tape, but we can communicate this, and social media is not adequate. But drive-by.
Yes. Do we also have a plan for the artwork possibility?
Part of the discussion, so that needs to be informed.
Thank you.
I need
Really,
information.
from the bottom of my heart, I love that phrase. I love the style that it's in. I think we could be really, really creative about public art if we're allowed to keep that. I know there was a partnership with Renew Moline through that, but I don't want to see that go away. That's just dollars down the drain. So.
Yeah, and they've already talked about
Okay.
repurposing in a way
Okay.
during that construction. So it's kind of the completion of the possibility. So there's
Okay.
an interesting thought. We'll bring forward.
Okay, thank you. If there's nothing further, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. 10.18, a resolution approving a professional services independent contractor agreement with Planetaria Media, Inc. in response to the City of Moline website and branding request for proposal to provide economic development branding and website services, and authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute and attest to a professional services independent contractor agreement with Planetaria Media for the amount of $48,750 for professional services necessary to support economic development, branding, and website development, plus annual managed maintenance and hosting services not to exceed $8,000 per year. And authorizing city staff to do all things necessary to implement a professional services independent contractor agreement and advance the economic development, branding, and website development process. Mr.
Your
Parker?
Honor.
Yes.
On this item, I will be recusing myself. This is the field in which I work, in which my firm could be competitive, so I will be recusing myself.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. City issued an RFP for branding website services to support economic development initiatives. 14 firms responded. Staff evaluated, ranked, and interviewed those firms, and then shortlisted 2 firms. Planetaria Media was deemed the highest ranked responsive firm based on the requirements of the RFP. Staff recommends entering into a professional service independent contractor agreement with Planetaria Media in the amount of $48,750 to complete the branding and website development scopes of work. This resolution also requests approval of additional administration and hosting costs not to exceed $8,000 annually. With this proposal, standard maintenance and hosting is currently projected to be $3,250 a year, which we think that is where it will land on an annual ongoing basis. First year may have some additional hourly work, so that $8,000 allows that to gives us some ceiling room there.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Finch, seconded by Castro. Discussion. Mr. Silas.
Thank you. Is this intended to be more like a tool for economic development or more like a advertising for what's happening for the public?
Yeah, great question. So as you'll find is municipalities, many municipalities, as they're active and there's growth, there's development activity. Again, just as like we were talking about here, communication and being able to put our projects out there, be able to convey what's happening, what the incentives are, what the tools are, development successes, so it doesn't just pop up on social media and disappear. But it's a way for us to communicate what's coming, what the opportunities are, what the successes are, and then also bringing it in from small businesses to development. So this is truly it's not to be different, it's to be a cousin to our current website. Obviously, every city needs their technical compliant municipal website. This is not to replace that. Even the branding component is going to be highly intertwined. There's going to be I think we're going to have a lot of discussion on that. But it's to convey not something completely different. It's to convey that there is this activity by the city of Moline that gives a corral to put it in and be a great communication tool, hopefully.
Excellent, thanks.
I think there's already been established some good interest and so much information that I'm like, when is this happening? We need to have it so we can keep referring people to it. Any other comments?
And just note, if done right, sorry, this is something hopefully we can all point to. This is that tool we've all been asking for. So great.
Nothing further, all in favor?
Aye.
That motion passed. Oh, sorry, any opposed? That motion passes. All right, we'll call a regular council meeting to order, and I do want to assure our guests, this portion is a lot faster. So we'll be done shortly, I believe. Council, call to order, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there an invocation this evening, Mr. Schmidt?
No.
Okay, roll call, please.
Alderperson Silas.
Present.
Macias.
Present.
Razak.
Present.
Timian.
Present.
Finch.
Present.
McNeil.
Present.
Castro.
Present.
Schmidt.
Present.
All right, there's no remote electronic attendance. Any final chance for public comment this evening?
I do
You have
have
one
one to read that I
Oh, yes.
received.
Before 5 o'clock?
It was 5:33.
It doesn't comply.
It doesn't. You're right.
Then we'll do it next time. Thank you. So we move to 17, consent agenda.
Your Honor, I request the approval of Committee of the Whole and Council meeting minutes of April 7, 2026, Committee of the Whole meeting minutes of April 14, 2026, appointments made at Committee of the Whole on April 28, 2026, and consent agenda items 18.1 through 19.12 inclusively.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Finch, seconded by Razak. Roll call, please.
Alderperson Schmidt.
Aye.
Silas.
Aye.
Macias.
Aye.
Razak.
Aye.
Timian.
Aye.
Finch.
Aye.
McNeil.
Aye.
Castro.
Aye.
8 ayes and no nays, and that motion carries. Non-consent agenda resolutions. Item number 21.1, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute and attest to a memorandum of understanding between the city of Moline, Illinois, USA, and the city of Osbach, Germany, to establish and affirm a sister city relationship between the cities, promoting mutual understanding, cultural exchange, and international friendship.
Motion to approve.
There we go.
Motion by Schmidt, I heard
He didn't raise
first,
his hand.
and Mr. Timian is seconded. Discussion. Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Alderperson Schmidt.
Aye.
Silas.
Aye.
Macias.
Aye.
Razak.
Aye.
Timian.
Aye.
Finch.
Aye.
McNeil.
Aye.
Castro.
Aye.
8 ayes, no nays, that motion carries. Item number 21.2, a resolution approving the special event application for the Quad Cities Distance Classic Half Marathon and 5K Run event scheduled for Sunday, May 10, 2026, that is sponsored by the Corn Belt Running Club, and authorizing a grant to the Corn Belt Running Club for the amount of $1,000 from the Special Events Fund for event marketing efforts, and closing certain streets more particularly described herein to vehicular traffic, and authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute and attest to a licensing agreement with Corn Belt Running Club for the use of public right-of-way in conjunction with said event.
Motion to approve?
Second. Motion by Finch, seconded by Castro. Roll call, please. Oh,
Alderperson-
sorry, discussion. What the heck? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Alderperson Schmidt.
Aye.
Silas.
Aye.
Macias.
Aye.
Razak.
Aye.
Timian.
Aye.
Finch.
Aye.
McNeil.
Aye.
Castro. 8 ayes, no nays, and that motion carries. Item number 21.3, a resolution authorizing the mayor, city clerk, and city staff to apply for an Illinois Environmental Protection Agency Public Water Supply Energy Efficiency Grant Program, Round 2, for the addition of variable frequency drives on pumps at the water treatment plant, and authorizing the Director of Utilities to do all things necessary to submit the subsequent grant application currently available through the IEPA PWS EE Grant Program.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Finch, seconded by Silas. Discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Alderperson Schmidt.
Aye.
Silas.
Aye.
Macias.
Aye.
Razak.
Aye.
Timian.
Aye.
Finch.
Aye.
McNeil.
Aye.
Castro.
Aye.
8 ayes, no nays, and that motion carries. Non-consent agenda, first reading ordinances. Item number 22.1, an ordinance approving a preliminary/final development plan for a planned unit development site and rezoning from NC Neighborhood Center to NC PUD Neighborhood Center Planned Unit Development for an approximately 1.25 acre tract of land commonly known as 2701-2715 Avenue of the Cities, pins 17-04-415-001, 17-04-415-002, and 17-04-415-003.
Motion to approve. There's a measure of integrity.
Second.
I'm trying to do it fast. All right. That was Macias followed by Finch.
No.
No. I mean Timian.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Followed by Finch.
We do look alike.
Stop. All right. Discussion. Hearing.
I'm
Yes, go ahead,
super
Mr.
excited about this.
Yeah.
It's so great. Been waiting my
Long
whole life.
time.
It's wonderful.
Your whole life.
Yeah.
All right. If there's nothing further, roll call, please. Alderperson Schmidt.
Aye.
Silas.
Aye.
Macias.
Aye.
Razak.
Aye.
Timian.
Aye.
Finch.
Aye.
McNeil.
Aye.
Castro.
Aye.
8 ayes, no nays. Motion to advance to second reading carries. Item number 22.2, an ordinance amending Chapter 20, Motor Vehicles and Traffic of the Moline Code of Ordinances, Appendix 5 thereof, all-way stop intersections, by adding the intersection of 54th Street and 11th Avenue C.
Motion to advance the second reading. Second.
Motion by Finch, seconded by Castro. Discussion. Hearing none, roll call, please. Alderperson Schmidt.
Aye.
Silas.
Aye.
Macias.
Aye.
Razak.
Aye.
Timian.
Aye.
Finch.
Aye.
McNeil.
Aye.
Castro.
Aye.
8 ayes, no nays. Motion to advance to second reading carries, and that's all I have this evening. Thank you. We're to miscellaneous business. I once again thank all of you all for joining us this week and for sitting through our meeting to see what we had to discuss. The other items I want to share is I have been receiving information, and the Rock Island Arsenal Defense Alliance has reached out about the loss of 100 or so jobs at the Arsenal. Trying to gain more information about the impact of that. The Riata Alliance is trying to do that. So I know we had some staff sit in on that when I couldn't. There's an additional meeting this Thursday that is at the exact same time as the first big regional conversation about a permanent homeless shelter that Richard Brunk at the county is organizing. So we're gonna have to work with staff to split up. I'll for sure be at the shelter conversation, and staff is also going to represent us, KJ and Chris, at the homelessness conversation that's happening, sponsored by the Chamber and the Community Foundation. I continue to reiterate my preference for small solutions on our side of the river. I am not anti-regional solutions, but as someone pointed out to me, regional solutions, saying that everybody should do it, sometimes is saying that you don't want to do it. And I think we've proven our track record of taking on the challenge, and I don't feel that we should stop doing that. And so we should just continue to work with the partners that we do have, while taking in new information that Chris is going to bring back, Chris and KJ. So happy to hear all of it, but I wanted you to know that the perspective I'm taking into our conversations is we know we can do stuff on this side of the river. We need to get that done. That's all I have. Do you have anything?
I've had some questions here being new, and my residents have had some questions. I just wanted to thank staff for being so responsive and welcoming during this first few weeks here. So thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Macias?
Thank you, Your Honor. I actually will be at the regional momentum building event
Okay,
with the
great.
foundation tomorrow.
Thank you.
I'll be with my capacity for my work working at the credit union, which is an idea of credit unions that were born in Germany and went to Canada and eventually here. So thanks to our friends in Germany, it's influenced the whole industry. But it just goes to show that that's what led me to serve also in council, just the idea of not just for-profit business, but also you can do good in the community. So I'll be there. And again, I just want to say thank you for visiting us. Thank you for extending, the invitation for us to basically become friends. So now you have friends in Moline, and I can say we have friends in Germany, in Nassbach. So again, thank you for being here.
Mr. Vazak?
Thank you, Your Honor. I feel very happy today. For two things. Once, after a long time, we were unable to enact the contract with our counterpart, Germany. And second thing, and importantly, building to 200.
Building 200, yes. Thank you. Mr. Timian?
Thank you, Your Honor. I have two items. One is I was able to represent the city for the Arbor Day tree planting at the high school last week. This is the second time I've done it. It's always a great event when the high school was great because there were members of the Green Club that were there, and they were thrilled about it. And the kids were grabbing the shovels and digging the holes, and it was really great to see them. The second item is I was invited by one of the pastors of River City Church, which is the large round church off of 6th Avenue, by Riverside Park. And we talked about the church and the number of jobs that are there, and the private school which they run, and just the amount of investment they put into the grounds. And then he walked me around and showed me the sidewalks that are some of the worst I've seen. A house that was burned down and someone bought through the county, but there are a number of abandoned homes or empty lots and pretty bad roads and sidewalks in that area. He was leveraging to me that if the city would do our part, they would invest more. I'm not going to do a tit for tat conversation. I think that it's really our obligation to do that. I walked away with questions about how can we partner with any organization, religious or not, that want to host events, and the city can do it. They have a lot of parking lots there. There's a lot of space for touch a truck or any of these things, and it could be a good opportunity to get people in these different areas throughout the city. So I don't really have any big takeaways other than, and I was asking, why don't you build a house there? And he said that the houses in that neighborhood they sell for $70,000. So he couldn't sell a $150,000 house. I disagree with that, but a lot of these things are just connected, and I just feel like it would be interesting to start exploring opportunities that could benefit faith communities and the city at the same time. So
thanks for bringing that up. If Ashley was in here, she has the date for when the next Faith Leaders Summit is. I think I asked her to put it in May, but the topic was going to be more focused on youth services, but that doesn't mean there can't be one that's focused on sort of neighborhood vitality and revitalization, which thank you for bringing that up. Do you have any other points?
No.
Okay,
Thank
well,
you,
you're reminding me that this is the first meeting we've had since staff and I went to the Just City final session at Harvard, and exactly what you're talking about with activating spaces in some of our neighborhoods that don't have a lot of amenities. That was one of the main takeaways from our presentation, is that we have to start small, and I was so pleased to have the example of Mercado on 5th that started small and look what it grew into, right? And that was like the biggest takeaway, is that's what we need to do in the East End, and your location you're talking about is the beginning of the East End.
It's not too far away.
Not too far away. So thank you for that. Ms. Finch.
Nothing, Your Honor. Thank you.
Castro? Mr. Schmidt?
Just thank you to our guests for being here. It's been a great pleasure to meet you, and really appreciative of your presence. That's it.
Staff.
Happy to just jump in and again congratulate this council and the city council from Asbach in forming this long-awaited sister city relationship that was just a phone call a year ago, almost less than a year ago, and turned into a meaningful relationship, establishing new friendships across the seas from continent to continent. This is the beginning of what should be a long and lasting relationship that's meaningful, that generates exchange between our two cities, and I couldn't be happier knowing that you invited us next year. We plan on budgeting for it and being there.
Thank you. Any
Of
other?
course, it has to be adopted in the budget.
Yeah, we all have to vote for it.
I'm never going to second guess council's vote.
Any other staff with updates? Okay, hearing none, we move to the last time for public comment. If you didn't quite hear, there was a late submission, and just to follow the rules, we'll make sure it's read at the next council meeting. No executive session, correct?
Not this evening.
Thank you. So I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Motion by Castro, seconded by Finch. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.